Hey, what is going on, guys? Brawler here, and today we are here for a new series on the channel, being, as you can see on the screen, Pixel Heroes Byte and Magic. This game is, as you would probably suggest from the title, a dungeon slash RPG sort of game, but it is all 8-bit. I have played this just a bit to get a feel for the game, and I may or may not have been addicted to it at one point. But anyways, we're going to jump right into it here and start a new game. From the menu, we can see that there are no normal and no easy choices. We have to jump straight into hard. Alright, welcome to the tavern. As simple as it gets. As you can see, you have 6 heroes to choose from the start, but you do have rerolls, which I'll go into all of that. Starting off, we have some basic heroes that you start off with. We have 3 of them on the screen, being the Barbarian, who has average life, high strength, and somewhat poor dexterity, intelligence, and faith. And he starts off with 2 abilities, Rage and Rampage. This heals and inflicts him with a status, which I will go over all of that here when it comes to that. And we also have a Rampage, which is a bleeding physical attack. And we also have the War Mage, who has, well, is well-rounded. Sorry, I'm paying attention to something else right at the moment. Anyways, the War Mage has decent life, well, average life, average strength, and a slightly above average intelligence. He is a very, very well-rounded character when it comes to damage, having 2 abilities, Magic Missile and Magic Sword. These abilities will not change, by the way. These are not what change. And the third one that is basic is the Dwarf. That's right. He is sort of like the Barbarian in the fact that he has high, very, very high strength and life, but lacks in everything else. Going over these next 3 characters, however, we have the Bard. The Bard is a very well-rounded character all around. He's slightly below average life and intelligence, however he has very high dexterity and faith, which is a decent character. However, I don't really care for his abilities. The Song of Metal gives all of these statuses to enemies, which I will go over as soon as we get into battling, I promise. And the Silly Sonata, which is a party healing, and it can conflict all of these, except for this. This isn't that good. And what was next? The Brewmaster. Brewmaster, very, very high life, slightly below average strength, and average faith. He I have never used before. Never used or touched the Brewmaster whatsoever. So I have no idea what he does. I don't really care for him though. Apparently he has 2 healing, but they do inflict statuses. Don't explain them yet, I will explain them. And the final one up here is the Alchemist. I have used him before, and he is one of the better ones that I have used. He has slightly below average faith and dexterity, but he has average life and slightly above average intelligence. His 2 abilities is a Red Potion, which he can heal his allies for 28, which does go up over time. And then the Green Potion, which does very decent damage, but it also inflicts a lot of statuses to the enemy that otherwise may or may not be a bit hard to inflict. Anyways, I personally do not like this setup for the first one, which is where these rerolls come in. Rerolls are the, well, you get to reroll the 6 heroes that appear, because there are more than 6, believe it or not. I believe I have around maybe 10, 11, something like that. So why don't we hit this reroll button and see what we get next. Alright, next we have pretty much the same thing. However, we do have two new heroes. We have the Huntsman. The Huntsman is pretty rounded to the first three stats, however he does have slightly above average dexterity, which is good. And the two abilities are Tranquilizer and Poison... Tranquilizer and Poison Bolt. Both do the same amount of physical damage, but inflict different statuses, and you can probably guess which one is which. And over here we have the Warrioress. Never used her, however she is similar to another one which we have not seen yet. War Chant, which is a party heal, and then Pierce, which is a 2-hit physical attack, and it lowers something, which I will explain. Looking at her stats, she has average life and dexterity, but slightly above average strength. So she's slightly similar to the Huntsman here. And the rest, the other three, we've already seen. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll again. So, yeah. Okay. It would appear as though we actually have some decent people this time. Huh. And we also have, I think, 4 more to go over this time. I'm going to start with the Adventurer, who is a really average character. He is that one character in every RPG that no matter what you do, it will not affect him. And for the two abilities, we have Lesser Healing, which is a single healing move, and then Orb of Noob. I don't know how to pronounce that. Which it can hit anybody for 20 magic damage. I don't like this guy very much because while he's decent, he's not the best. Then we are going to go over here. I believe this is the Plaguebringer. Yep, Plaguebringer. He is fun to play. You just have to watch out for abilities that can confuse him, which I'll go over all that. However, his two abilities, Miasma and Infection. This one hits all and it inflicts something that lowers their damage and healing potential. And Infection does the same thing, but it only hits one and inflicts 2 more different statuses. Then we're going to move right next to him actually, for the Assassin. The Assassin is squishy, hits hard, however he avoids a lot, or can avoid a lot. I like him mainly because of his high dexterity. Dexterity and Faith are very important stats when it comes to this game. With his two abilities being higher damaging moves than most, especially for Smoke Bomb, he's pretty good in my opinion. And then finally we have the Priest. Very high Faith, decent life, and below average everything else. This isn't to say that he is a bad character by any means, because there is an item on this game designed specifically for the Priest. So I would recommend using the Priest if you can find him. Unfortunately, the 3 heroes I want to use are in fact in this room, so I'm going to go ahead and use them. We are going to start with the Plaguebringer, the Assassin, and the Priest. Now, something I would bring attention to before we go any further is the fact that once you pick your 3 heroes, that's it. Those are the 3 heroes you finish the game with. And what's even worse is that this game has permanent death. Well, not permanent. There is a way to revive, which I'll go into all that later. But these are the 3 heroes. Once you pick them, you're stuck with them. There is no trading. That's it. That being said, I'm pretty confident in my team right now. It has a caster, a strength guy, and dexterity, not to mention, and a faith/healer. So I'm going to go ahead and go. Now, you can see these 3 heroes that I didn't pick leap bar, and they all say something, which is pretty cool. Then we have this little nudist/ prophesizer, I guess. Let's see. Listen, the end is nigh. Hear my words and prepare. An ancient cult has set foot in our lands. They call themselves the Sons of Dawn and pray to some dark elder being. They have started recruiting people for their cause all over the country. I fear that they want to try to awaken something which should be left sleeping. Something dangerous and sinister. Something that might destroy us all. Spend your last days wisely. We will meet again once the time has come for your final quest. And he's not lying. You don't see him again until you get the final quest. After that little spiel, we are here in the town. The town is really... well, the town is the town. It's pretty small for the town though, and it has your basics. The temple, the casino, which actually isn't used for anything, which kind of makes me upset. And you also have the townspeople and all of that jazz. Here's the shop, and here is the library, which is used for getting magic books, which I will explain here in a minute. But for now, let's check our equipment. Starting off for the equipment, you have 3 random pieces of equipment that you get. As well as... ooh! That's pretty good to start with, actually. Your heroes all come with these pieces of armor that are mediocre pieces of gear. Like, everything will say mediocre on it. There is no getting out of it. Everything is mediocre to start with. However, let's take a look at what we have. Mossy Ring of Insight, which adds intelligence. As you can see, the stats are all right here. Like, that's decent to start with, but I want to look at the other ones first. That adds faith, and that adds life and strength. This is actually pretty good for my heroes. I'm going to go ahead and give the Icy Ring of Love to Alonzo. And by the way, you can change their name when you pick them. I just go ahead and use the name they give me. It doesn't affect anything what name you give them. Solomon, I'm going to go ahead and give the Frigid Fetish of Hope. And then Berry. Okay, whatever. I'm going to go and give the Mossy Ring of Insight. And now, he has protection against Wyrm. That is I'm pretty sure that's Wyrm. Might be Leviathan, I don't remember. If we can go into help, and then elements, that is Wyrm, okay. And then he has Leviathan protection, and he has Leviathan protection, which is really nice. Alright, let's just go into the library real quick after I fix what's going on. Hold on one moment. Alright, let's see if that's any better. Let's go into the library. Yep, that appears to have fixed it. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and shop and see what everybody, well, can do. Like, this is horrible for him to have, especially since he's an intelligence hero. So what I'm going to do is go out and sell it to the blacksmith here in a moment, but I want to look at what she has. Yes, this is a she. So we have all of these different spells. However, certain ones have different effects or elements to them. This one happens to be neutral damage, which you can tell because it doesn't have like the little symbol up here. Well, it has one symbol, but it inflicts bleeding. That little red symbol that looks like a teardrop, or a raindrop in this situation, is the bleeding effect in this case. There is another one that is poison, but it's green. This one, you can tell, has a certain type of damage because it will be right next to how much damage it does. This one, in this case, is Phoenix damage. The good thing about having an elemental spell is the fact that you can do more damage against certain types of enemies. However, other enemies will either not take damage from it, like they'll absorb it, or it won't be very effective against them. However, this one also inflicts burn, which is constant damage over time for a few turns. This is Griffin damage, which is pretty cool. Well, not pretty cool, but does 41 magical, and it does base 18 damage plus 80% of the magical damage. I think that's what it's called. 41 damage to start with for 380 is pretty good, and it's less than this, so I will check it out here in a minute. This is actually really good too, the metal spikes, for starting off at least, because it does 33 damage to all of your enemies, which is good starting off with. This also does Wyvern damage. This does Leviathan damage, and it has 39 damage. So I think, depending on the quest I accept, I'll come back. Let me see, I need to get you a different healing spell, or even a damaging spell. Yeah, I think I'm going to get him a damaging spell, because even though he's supposed to be a healer guy, I'd still like him to do some sort of damage. So we're going to go ahead and give Solomon that book. Okay, now let's check out what this guy has. I'm going to go ahead and sell that first. And then, I forgot his name already. Oops, I'm terrible with names. Anyways, we have double 34s. So, looking at what he has so far, that's a really good, really good, I don't even know what that's called, a claw? I don't remember. However, it's really good, especially for the price, because some of these items don't even get that high. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that sword, and we're going to get him the claw. And then we can go ahead and go get him a book for what we have left. Though I don't think we have very much left, which might have been bad on my decision. Now, I also don't like the way they're set up, so I'm going to move these guys around like this. And how do you do that? You just hold left click and move them up or down accordingly. Now, let's look at some of these quests. We have 2 every time we come back to town. So Captain Capslock has one for us. Molly wants a cracker in the Boneyard. The Boneyard is one of my least favorite dungeons, actually, because of how challenging it is. So it's more or less, do I want to get it over with now or not? And Serena has Sunken Empire. Now, most of mine are neutral damage, and I know what the Sunken Empire's boss is, so I think I actually want to go there, because the item the boss gives here is one of the better ones in the game. So I'm going to accept this. And she's happy that we get to go save her cat, I think it was. I don't know. But now notice we have the go we can actually use. And it's making sure we do want to leave, because once you leave, you cannot come back to this until your dungeon is gone. Or completed, at least. So I say, let's go. Something I really like about this game is the fact that along the way, you have these random encounters with things. They can be Easter eggs or just battles. Either you're going to get something good, do nothing, which you can ignore most of them, or get a battle. Then there's a friendly talking guy standing at the side of the road. Greetings, my friends. You look a bit tired and weary. Can I offer you something to drink? Oh. And he has several beverages that we can pick. Which one do we like? We are... We can either get beer, goat milk, attack him, or refuse. I want what he has. We're going to attack him. Aw, man. Okay. We have our first instance of a battle now. As you can see, we can pick one of our 3 heroes and attack. I think I'm going to start things off with the spell of Pestilence from Berry, which does some decent damage, I guess. Oh, and now Alonzo has our first instance of a status problem, being Poisoned. Poisoned will do progressively more damage over time, but will eventually wear off on its own. There is no healing status itself. And now we can also go over something that Berry Berry has. Berry Berry needs a turn to rest after he attacks. All heroes do. So you cannot just think, I'm going to gear this one hero up and that's it. You have to make sure they're all balanced so you can actually use them all. So I'm going to go ahead and use Alonzo's Mitten of Freedom and kill the snake. Yep, snake's dead. Disappears in a little puff of whatever that stuff is. Blood? That's what I'm going to call it. So now, I am going to use the ancient spell of Thunderbolt for Solomon and kill the snake. Yeah. And now all we have is the swarm of bees. Now both of them are poisoned, and that's not good. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the swarm of bees. There we go. We won. We get items, experience, and gold. We also got some healing potions that will come in handy. What is this? Holy Coat of Water. I'm going to go ahead and switch this, especially since his physical defense, which is the yellow, is a bit higher than his magical defense, which is the blue. And after this, you can interact with your heroes, make sure they're all up to speed, well, up to health rather, and up to equipment. So we're just going to go ahead and continue on. What's our next little random thing going to be? This thing. This we're just going to ignore because it's a completely random chance, and while I would love the experience, I don't think it's necessary right now. And we're just going to continue travel and not even worry about our inventory. Ooh, this is the ninja. You see a person hiding next to the road. She blends into the background almost completely, but you can make out a female form. We are going to talk to her. Damn it, you saw me, right? I invented a semi-transparent suit by using the magic of the Skyborn and combining it with some rare materials. Well, it obviously didn't work out as well as I expected. Thank you for pointing that out to me. And we actually get a few experience points for that. These, of course, are just a few of the many things you can get from this. But at that, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the episode here. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave me a like and a comment down below. And I will see you in the next episode of either Pixel Heroes or something else. Until then, I'm Brawler. You've been watching. Bye!